Welcome to the Elite Life with Trisha and Kylie. This is where we'll teach you how to develop grit, give yourself grace, and succeed in real estate. So let's dive in.
What up, fam? It's Kay Kizzle and T-Money hitting you up on the Elite Life podcast. We're so glad that you decided to join us today. And you can tell by the look on Trisha's face that this is not the intro that she wrote for this show. I'm super excited because I'm Kay Kizzle, a.k.a. Kylie, and this is T-Money, a.k.a. Trisha. And we are so pumped to bring you this because when Trish brought it up during our brainstorm session, we were, outlining our podcast for the next month. I said, scrap everything else. This is the magic. This is the one.
I don't remember what this is about, but 100% it totally is going to be great. So our script says this might be a slap of reality for some of you, but you're going to want to hang through it to the end of this episode, as always, because today we are actually going to unpack some recession-proof ways to tighten your budget, switch your mentality on money, and make more of it in spite of the state of economy. So we're going to teach you how to make money when it's hard to make money.
Yeah. And so our first tip, this is my main go-to, you just make more money. You just make some more money. And for some of you, that might sound a little bit easier said than done, especially those of you who have a 9-to-5 who might be wondering, how in the world am I going to make more money unless my boss gives me a raise, right? Shameless plug here. If you're stuck in a 9-to-5 job and you want an unlimited income, please call me at 248-795-1905. I'd be happy to show you all the ins and outs of real estate and how you can make an uncapped income. Shameless plug. There we go. I'm good? I'm done. I'm done for right now.
All right. Well, we are going to actually talk about your domain, what you love, and I'm always trying to get you away from, but it is good when you need to make more money, and that is, of course, side hustle.
Every day I'm hustling. So Trisha's right. I have a really, really hard time turning down side hustles because there are just so many amazing ways to make more money, and it's literally never been easier than it is right now. The advent of social media and the exposure that you can get by just making a post, taking a picture, and putting it up there in front of thousands of eyes, that is historical. And so let me just go down the list real quick of all of these easy side hustles that you can get into.
And before you say, I'm too good to do a side hustle, I'm better than that.
Lay it down.
I'm better than that. Well, I want you to think about this. Are you better than getting your car repoed? Are you better than paying your mortgage?
Are you too good to, have your phone bill on, have your lights on, have food in the fridge?
Yeah,
no.
Because when I was listening, I got this idea. I was listening to our friend Brian Fullerton's podcast, and Fullerton Unfiltered. Go check them out. They're awesome. And he was talking about how during the last recession, the difference between people who lost their house and the amount of money they would have needed to keep their house was $400. So if they could have just made $400 more a month, they would have had enough to be able to keep their home.
And that sounds like a lot. Like, to a lot of people, you're like saying, oh, $400, that might as well be $4,000 or $400,000. But like Trisha said, and like we always preach, you have to be willing to do the things that are going to take you where you want to go. And sometimes you just got to go into grind mode. I'm sorry, we live in a crappy, broken world, and sometimes you just got to grind it out. I'm pretty sure that's in the curse somewhere. So with no further ado, let's run this down real quick. A lot of these you might already know about. Some you might not have known existed. So obviously Uber and DoorDash. Don't knock it. I personally know people who literally pay all of their bills by door dashing between 4 when they get out of their regular job. They'll door dash or Uber between 4 and like 10 at night. So instead of going home, playing video games, screwing around, binge watching TV, they're making an extra $200, $300, $400 a night, y'all. Okay. Amazon and YouTube and Instagram reviews, focus groups and surveys. You can get paid like this. If you Google it, you can sign up for it. I know people who do the Amazon reviews. They make videos, they get products, they do it, and they get a couple bucks here and there. And it's no skin off their rear end. You know, it's just a little bit of extra time while they're, you know, at home instead of watching TV. I think I have to go home and unplug my TV. Beachbody!
Yeah, all the online fitness gear, right? They got Savvy. There's so many of those different online fitness avenues you could take, and it's something you're already doing.
Right. If you're already working on investing in your health, then like when I signed up with Beachbody, I didn't really have the intention of like going and doing the coaching and making that my main gig. But I will tell you, just from posting my workouts or like when I was doing the essential oils, just from posting about it, sharing value, sharing recipes, especially when the kids got hand, foot, and mouth, and I was able to clear that up with lavender and essential oils and stuff like that, it's super easy to make a couple extra bucks.
Well, and the cool thing about that is, you know, I signed up to be a Beachbody coach in, gosh, it had to have been at least
150 years ago.
Yeah. Well, and the funny thing is I don't do anything actively with it now. It's been a long time since I did anything actively with it, but I get deposited into my bank account like $100 to $110 every single week. Every single week from just when I used to do it years ago.
It's lifestyle ministry. And if you don't know what that is, that basically is you're the living proof of whatever it is that you are aiming for. If you're selling Beachbody, you're the living proof of Beachbody. If you're selling crypto, you're the living proof of that. And lifestyle ministry is for free. It's a free thing, free marketing. Also, we have on the list micro drip ebooks and online courses. So this is where we kind of shine a little bit. It has never been more popular than it is now for people to get training, coaching, help, guidance online. And if you are good at something, I'm a big Gary Vee fan. He wholeheartedly believes in, you know, profiting off of your passion. And so if you know something, you can put it in a book and you can make it an ebook and you don't have to worry about printing or publishing. You put it out there and people will pay you for that. People will pay you to download pieces of paper that you have written stuff down on, which is stuff you already know, right?
Yeah.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, and I mean, that goes along with teaching, right? Like, you can be an online tutor. I paid an enormous amount of money to online tutors for Trent because he's always on the road. He's always playing hockey. He was in online school, but when you're in online school, nobody's teaching you. So then I had to actually pay for online tutors, and he learned a lot from those online tutors. You could teach English to someone who needs to learn English. Yeah. You know, people come in, they know how to speak Spanish or French. They don't know English. We can teach English. Coach newbies in your profession, right? You could be a virtual assistant. All of those things are amazing if you're good with words. I was just talking about this the other day for TJ. He's like, oh, I need to write XYZ. I'm like, dude, Fiverr that out. You can be a freelance writer, you could be a blogger, you could be a social media manager, you could proofread for people, data entry, resume writer, work on Fiverr, like all of those gig jobs, you can make great cash at just doing stuff that other people don't have time to do or aren't good at. Right.
And there's a lot of sites where like you don't even have to do the legwork of finding the clients. Like you can sign up with Fiverr, Amazon, whatever, and they send the clients to you and you just do your thing and you get paid, man.
Yeah. So make more money is number one. And then number two, we've talked about before, but in a different way. Like I'm usually the one pointing out that you can cut that, you know, 1 or 2 times a day Starbucks have it and save money. And, you know, kind of going back to Brian Fullerton's episode, he was saying like people are always really quick to cut their Starbucks at $7.99 or their Netflix. But like that's not where you're going to see the biggest impact. What about cutting that $13,000 trip to Disney? Yeah, like
Disney will get you.
Right. The kids might be disappointed that they're not going, but I'm going to bet they'd be a lot more disappointed if their electricity went off or there's no food in the fridge, right? Or your car got repoed or you have to go live in a teeny tiny 2-bedroom apartment because you lost your 4-bedroom home, right? We can sacrifice the Disney vacation so that we can live in a nice house and have our heat on.
Just go later.
Yeah. absolutely.
If we've learned anything, it's Disney's always going to be there.
100%.
For sure. And I think the lesson there is priorities, right? We're not saying don't go on vacation, because I know the trolls are coming for us. So you're saying that people should never go on vacation. They should grind all the time. And they should have a side hustle, blah, 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 blah. We're not saying that. We're saying if you're in dire straits, if you're in a place where you're trying to figure out where your next meal is going to come from, obviously setting your priorities is going to be important, and that's the way you're going to get out of the hole, truly.
Yeah, and I do know people that are very near and dear to my heart that I hear constantly like, I don't have the money for that, I don't have the money for that.
Is
and
it
I'm
me?
like,
I feel personally attacked.
No.
It's not me. It's not.
But I see them, you know, going on vacation all the time. And whether that's, you know, camping for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, like you're talking about
Hold on. Who the hell is camping for 4 or 5 weeks?
There are people.
Why are you going to leave your house and go camping for 4 or 5 weeks? You can't even pay for your house. You better get comfy on that campsite, because that's where you're going to live.
That's very true. And that brings us to the next one, which is the compound effect of your spending. So you don't realize, like, hey, what you just said, like, why would you go camping that many times? Well, if you really like camping and fishing and being outside and stuff, and you're not thinking about, you're like, well, you know, it's only this much, right? But when you compound that, like people who go out to lunch, there's tons and tons of people that go out to lunch every single day. So let's say you're doing a $12.99 lunch, right? With tax and tip, that's $20. Most of the time, I've noticed when you go out to lunch right now, it's well over $20, but let's just say $20, 5 days a week, 52 weeks in a year. That's $5,200 a year. $5,200 a year, right? And that's just if you're eating, let's say, a salad. Now let's add your $7 Starbucks every morning. That's another $1,820. So you are at $7,020 just from coffee and a salad. Yeah. So let's call it 10 grand, right? So $10,000 if you stop grabbing coffee and stop getting salad every day. Could we bring our lunch for 10 grand?
Dang, man. When you do the math like that, it is absolutely mind-blowing. But like Ryan and I, we've sat down and we've gone through our bank statements, because how many times have I come to you and I'm like, where does all the money go? Because I'm not a shopper. I'm not that woman. I don't enjoy a ton of shopping. I don't go out and spend money. And so I'm like, where's all our money going? Well, I love energy drinks and Ryan dips. So I'm looking at it. I'm like, we easily conservatively spend $120, if not more, every single month. So it's $1,200. Woo, we escalated real quick there. I went to Waterford schools, so math not so good. But all of that is to say, it adds up so quickly, and sometimes you don't even realize it, because we live in this place where a lot of people don't use cash. When you have a wad of cash and you spend and you spend and you spend, you can physically see, oh shit, my wad of cash is getting low. But when you have a card and you're not consistently looking at the numbers,
yeah, I mean, think about that in your head. You would never think about that. Like, so the Disney trip, 13 grand, 7 grand for the salads and coffee, right? Very easily you could say, well, I don't ever eat out. Like, I might get a salad and a coffee, no big deal. And we don't go on vacation. We only take one vacation a year. When you add those two numbers up, it's $20,000. Right. $20,000. That's
a down payment on a house, by the way. That's more than a down payment for a house. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there you go. So that brings us to our last point, which is mindset and concessions. You know, you've been in the business for a long enough time. I'm sure you've seen agents who've been in the business for a while and, oh, I'm going to take only, you know, this client. I don't want leases, blah, blah, blah. So do you want to expand on mindset and concessions for us?
Yeah. I mean, I think the fact is that when you're going into an economy that is going to be tight, right? Like me and Dave have had these conversations because we're in real estate and the housing market shifted right when we bought a new house, right? And so I had to start thinking like, okay, you know, everybody needs to just put their ego aside. Like, just because I've been in this business for 20 years and I'm a broker and I have a team of agents does not mean that I should say, well, I'm not showing leases because that's below me, or I'm not showing first-time home buyers. I only show lake houses, or Detroit, or, you know, and I hear agents in my office all the time make some of these comments like, well, I guess not so much now. I used to. I don't hear it now as much. I think we have a great core team. But anyways, I digress. I hear your agents say these things. And I look at it as like, I just did a lease for another hockey mom. I love doing first time home buyers. I am not going to let my ego run the show, especially when we're talking about a market that is, a market where we might not have a lot of buyers. We might not have a lot of clients. We don't know what's going to happen next. And I don't want to be sitting there getting my house foreclosed on because my ego was too big to go drive and show some houses. Like, who am I? There's always somebody who's doing more than you, who's better than you, who's making more money than you, who's prettier than you, smarter than you. Like, that is the facts. So take your ego and put it in a box, right? Because when push comes to shove and things tighten up and you need to really screw down on your finances, you're going to be really glad you did, because you can be comfortable and you can be happy and you can enjoy your family instead of being stressed out, broke, losing everything because you were too good to go out and show this client or take that client. Like, you have to have,
or pick up a side hustle.
Yeah, you have to have your mindset in the right space, right? Like, again, going back to Brian's podcast again. He was talking about how his friend, like, he runs a lawn and landscaping business. He owns the business. And when we had all those ice storms, he took his trailer, he put some sides up, and he started knocking on doors being like, can I pick up your branches and cut any ones that are going to hit your house, right? He wasn't below picking up the trees off the ground. Just because he owns the company doesn't mean that you're above doing work. And he was making like $300-$400 per door. So he's bringing in a few extra $1,000 a day by doing a job that maybe somebody else would be like, oh no, I don't even leave my house. I'm not cleaning up branches off the ground, right? Mm-hmm. I could very easily say, I'm not cleaning the bathrooms. I have somebody I pay to do that. You know what? You're not going to have somebody you pay to do that soon because you don't have any clients and the market has stopped, right?
Dude, I just think about Erica and how she took something that people don't like to do and she monetized that. And that was so resourceful and so amazing. She has Poopin' Scoopin'.
Yeah. Go back and listen to our podcast about scooping the poop with Erica Crouppen.
Yeah, yes. It was a good one. And so there's always going to be something in the way, whether it's the economy, politics, your personal life, what's going on in the world or your community. And we just wanted to preach at you for a minute and encourage you not to let anything come between you and your money. Don't let anything come between you and your future. Don't let anybody tell you you're garbage for picking up that side hustle. I had a friend, her name is Steffi. She's a little bit ahead of me in the years department. She's a master paralegal for 30, 40 years, knows her stuff, makes stupid, dumb, good money. And she wanted to take her kids and her new grandbaby. Well, he wasn't new at the time, but she wanted to take her kids and her grandbaby, no expenses spared, to Disney to give him, he had a rough go there. They adopted him, whatever. She wanted to give him an amazing experience. So every other weekend, she worked at McDonald's. And she did that for 6 months, and she paid for the whole trip for everyone to go and didn't even have to come out of her regular budget money. Boom. Done. Mic drop. That's it. That's what we got for you today.
Stop being cream puffs and do what you got to do to keep moving the needle forward.
Get your poop in a group, y'all. And come back next week for more Elite Life. We drop fresh episodes all over the place on Thursday. Please share, like, subscribe, and just show us some love. Leave a comment. Leave a 5-star review. Wherever you're at. I lost my energy.
Bye.
We thank you so much for joining us today on the Elite Live with Trish and Kylie. Be sure to share the episode with a friend so we can continue bringing you more great tips on grit, grace, and real estate. You can also connect with us on Instagram, Facebook. We hope the ideas we share continue to help you build an empire and leave a legacy.